afternoon, everyone. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Data-Driven Districts program that we've been working on. It's a systemic program, and we're very excited about it because it's something that can be fixed in the education system. You know, a lot of what we hear is how bad it is, how people are struggling, the immense amounts of problems. But this is something that we can fix and need to fix and must fix. So, you know, there are many challenges in the system, we know that. Whether you're at province, district, circuit level, you've got issues. But how do our officials know what to focus on? How do they know where to allocate resources? How do they know where to drive interventions? And at the same time, how do they know where they're winning and where they're losing, where the problems are and where the successes are? What's working? Can we leverage off what's working? Because at the moment, outside of the matric and the ANAs, we've got very little access to standardized data within the system. There's plenty of data, and we started this project in 2012 and did a diagnostic research across the country, and there was tons of data, but there was multiple versions of the truth. And it was very difficult for anyone in the system to know where to actually focus attention. I mean, you know, the Pearls tests and the other tests give us strong indicators of where the problems are, but we don't have standardized data across the system. So, you know, if you're sitting at a district level and you've got a budget and you have to allocate people and time, you're doing it often on a thumbsuck or based on a portion of the data, not all of the data. So, to be effective, our officials needed access to standardized, reliable, and timeless data. And that's where we decided to focus our attention. So we partnered with the Department of Basic Education, funded very generously by the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation. And this has been an effort that was started in 2012, as I was saying. And it's been some really heavy lifting, but it's a program that is a partnership with the department, so it's their program. And I think we've got to take a lot of courage from that and inspiration from it because they're people that are doing really good things in the department. So we partnered with the department. All schools are given free a management system. It's called the South African Schools Administration Management System, commonly known as SA-SAMS. And every school's got access to the system, and it sits localized on a laptop or a desktop in a school. And normally is managed and data is inputted through a school administrator, data administrator. The challenge is that to get access to that data, you have to go to the school. So it's not a bad system. It's not the greatest, it's quite old, but it has everything on it. It's got the attendance of the teachers and the learners, it's got the learners' results, it's got timetables, it's got finance, it's got a whole lot of good things on it, but you've got to go to the school to get it. So for anyone trying to make a decision above the school, they don't have access to that data. So it makes it really difficult for them. So what we did was that we created two tools. The first tool supports the data administrator in how they verify their SA-SAMS database. So they plug they upload their database into this tool. The tool says, this is what you've got problems with, this is what you need to fix, and it shows you where to go and fix them. Once you reach a certain threshold of quality, you can, if you connect it to the internet, you can then extract that directly to our second tool, which is a dashboard. And that's what the dashboard looks like. So this is one of the screen prints from the dashboard. So if you have a look on the left-hand column, you'll see, this is a national view, right? So you'll see the names of the provinces that we're working in, Gauteng, KZN, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, and Northwest. We've also got Free State, who have their own intranet, so they don't work off the national view at this point. You've then got the school count, the number of learners, the learner attendance data, the educator attendance, task coverage. Task coverage is a measure that measures how many tasks have been assessed. So it's kind of like a proxy for syllabus coverage. It's not the best, but it certainly gives you an idea of whether they've tested the right stuff. They might not have covered it, but they've tested it. The report mark and exam mark are probably our two strongest metrics outside of attendance. So that tells you what the student got for their report for that term in that subject, as well as what they got for the test. So it's always an interesting comparative to look at those two numbers. We then have the ANAs, which is an annual statistic, and that obviously is it was only 2014 because we didn't get ANA results last year. And then the final metric is promotion, which is also an annual statistic that tells you the percentage of learners per grade that have been promoted to the next year. So it's a rich database, and provides the department with significant information that they never had before, that's standardized. So depending on where you're sitting in the system, you can have access to data then that drives your decision making. And I think, Trevor spoke about it earlier around saying the analysis is what's critical, and it's one of the areas that we're really battling with. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So this is a provincial view. So let me just go back one. At a national view, we're looking at Mpumalanga. We click on Mpumalanga. We then go into the Mpumalanga province, and you can then choose which district you want to look at. We look at Ihlanzeni, and within the Ihlanzeni district, there are a number of circuits. You can choose the circuit you want to look at, or if you're a district director, you can look at that view and go say, well, the reds indicate where someone is below target, what's happening? I don't have to get in my car and drive somewhere. I can then pick up the phone my circuit manager and say, listen, what's happening with attendance? And the circuit manager will say, well, let's have a look in that circuit, and you get the school names, and you can then drill down into the school, right down to the learner level. So here's a screenshot of attendance. For both teachers and learners, you can see where they've been absent. And if you hover on those little red boxes, you can see why they were absent. Were they at training? Were they sick? Were they on permanent disability, or whatever the case may be? You can also get access to the report card of the learner per term, per subject. You can also then, and this is a very new function that we've recently developed, which shows the per subject shows the mark per task. And you can see, so let's pick like economic and management sciences. For task 1, the learner got 57. For task 2, the learner got 29. We didn't put it in this presentation, but if you hover over any of those numbers, it'll tell you what the test was for. So if you're someone in the district who manages curriculum, and you need to think about where to focus your attention, you can see which schools are doing well, right down to a learner level, and you can see which schools aren't, and where they are geographically situated, so you can manage your thinking and your planning to allocate resources accordingly. And all this data comes from the department. Doesn't come from us. We're just supporting the department in how they pull it together and effectively web enable it, so that you can access it from wherever you are and whatever your level is. You can also see a subject view, and within that subject, you can see what's going on. So this is a maths view, and if you hover, you get distribution levels across achievement, and you can see trends over time. So it's a wealth of information. Where we've been successful is getting data onto the dashboard. So we've got guys in the field that are supporting the school administrators, and we've gone from, in 2012, supporting the department in 3 provinces with only a couple of schools, to now we in 7 provinces, 39 districts. We've got 5 million learners data on the dashboard in 9,000 schools. So, and we've facilitated this. The department has done the work. Initially we did some heavy lifting, but they've done the work. This is a district director in Free State. He looks after a district called Garib. He uses the dashboard every week. It's one of our super users. And the reason he uses the dashboard every week, it saves him time and it saves him money. He's got schools that are like 250 Ks from his district. And he's persuaded his officials, instead of getting in their car and driving to the schools to find out what's wrong, get on the dashboard, see what's going on, pick up the phone the districts, phone the schools, have a data-driven conversation, and try and make the right decisions to drive interventions and resources to the right place. Where we're struggling is to get more Mr. Matebes to use the dashboard. And I think that's a change management process. It's an IT issue. It's a computer literacy issue. So that's one of the reasons we're excited about working with Partners for Possibility, because you guys are in 460 schools, and you've got people that are IT literate and experienced sitting with someone who is running a school. And this could be a very powerful tool for you guys to use. And it's one of the things we want to leverage off going forward. So thanks very much.